Hey friends, it's Brian again. Well, I've got my Terminus Barbecue t-shirt on. It's Module 4. It must be time to talk about The Walking Dead. I know some of you have been looking forward to this. Some of you have been dreading this moment, but we're going to get into it. That giant AMC franchise of the modern, contemporary, everyday zombie. It's still going on right now. We're in the latest seasons as we speak. Before we do that, two quick things. The first is just a review of our Module 3 discussion on the fast versus the slow zombie. Wow, I had a great time reading all of your discussion posts. Some of you made some videos. Great job on those. Lots of wonderful points. Just remember, if you're not checking through those threads, Cassie, Emily, and I, we're in there. We're making comments on the things that you're saying, so check for follow-up questions. Those discussion threads are getting really, really interesting. You ought to see what's going on in some of the things inside your threads. Second thing, remember, use the readings, use the readings, use the readings. Even though there are a lot of them, you ought to be able to pick out some of the readings that are really going to shed light on things. I know some of you said, hey, these really do help us understand the material. That's the whole idea. These are sort of templates, they're models. If you're having trouble with the assignments, my guess is it's because you're not really completing all the readings, because they're there to help you, to guide you. There's something that can really, really assist things. Now, I did want to make one critical point overall. In almost every thread that we looked at for the groups talking about the fast versus slow zombies, most people at some point commented, hey, I really thought this was an important point about the fast versus slow and it reflects society, but ultimately this is a director's choice. Now, here's the thing. I want to ask you a question. Why is it that when we're talking about the temporality of the zombie, you said that there were certain things that are up to a director, like Danny Boyle gets to choose whether or not zombies move fast or whether they move slow when he's shooting 28 days. But when we were talking about other themes in our threads, you know, things like colonialism, gender, race, nobody said that that was a director's choice. Think back to our first module when we were watching White Zombie. We commented on the incredible racism of those films from the 1930s. Nobody looked at that and said, hey, it was a director's choice to portray all the characters in that way. No. We saw those as a larger societal issue. So why is it when we're talking about the speed of the zombie, literally its locomotion, a figure that we have already established reflects fears, anxieties, the uncanny as we see it, we thought that that's something the director gets to decide for themselves. I mean, in our posted question, we asked, what's the rhetorical impact here? Aren't the directors a product rhetorically of their time? Aren't they influenced by the things that are going on? Aren't they constructed in their time and what those societal constructs mean? I mean, when we really think about those constructs like race, imperialism, gender, all of those, we were talking about the society at the time and how those were a reflection of that. But then when I ask you about slow versus fast-moving zombies, and even we talk about the imperatives of risk from some of those readings, Carroll and Paffenroth, well, then you're like, well, no, that's the director. They just get to make a choice on that. They have free will. They're like completely outside of these external societal structures of risk. Do you really think that's the way it is? Or do you think the directors themselves are features within the rhetorical landscape that even though they're actors, they have some things that are impinging on them? I think it's worth considering. I think it's worth considering that the directors themselves are not making choices that are completely outside the bounds of rhetoric. I mean, this is, of course, about rhetorical theory. And that leads me to a second thing I want to talk about, and that's the Module 3 blog. Wow, really enjoyed looking at your survivor character analysis. I know some of you commented on the survey that you're a little unsure of exactly what to do. That's a part of it. It's okay. All right, we're willing to go with you on as far as you want to try to write out the details and the terrain of this blog. We're trying to give feedback as much as we can, but we want you to have the opportunity to do things that you want. For our Module 3 blog, we're pushing it just a little bit further. In our hypothetical situation, we have encountered other groups, not just our survivors, not just the zombies affecting us, but interacting with other groups. That's what we've got in 28 days. We bump into the military. That's what we're going to see in The Walking Dead. We encounter different groups after different groups. We're piecing society together now with not just our one survivor group, but we've got to bump up against other groups and group cohesion. Wow, if only we had something about communication when we're talking about group cohesion and meeting with other groups. Oh, we do. We're in a communication class. Hey, how about that? For this Module 3 blog, I want you to imagine we've encountered another group, and I want you to tell us how we might progressively deal with that other group using some sort of rhetorical or communication theory. And while you're doing that, please use some scenes from all of these different zombie films, movies, the TV shows, anything that you want to give us a background. Show us where the characters went wrong and where we might help out and do better. We're working for things in our own survivor situation. We're trying to figure out how we can survive a zombie apocalypse. If you're unsure of what to do on this one, I really encourage you to look at the reading in this week's module by John Green and Michaela Meyer. And by the way, that essay actually starts in an undergraduate seminar. That's right, John Green was a student taking a course on apocalyptic rhetoric. This paper on The Walking Dead was one that was written for Professor Michaela Meyer. They reworked the paper, they published it. This is an undergraduate using rhetorical theory. I think if they can do it, you can do it. I believe in you. Now, our next module, Module 4, we're talking about The Walking Dead. What can I say? Wow, it's gigantic. The Walking Dead. It's a television series. Before that, it was a graphic novel. It's in series after series, season after season. The graphic novel is a couple of seasons ahead of where the television is. There's a television spin-off, Fear the Walking Dead. There's overlap between those two characters. There's more than one video game. There's a YouTube series video game. There's a mobile game. There's all kinds of different things. This has become an incredible zombie franchise, not just a story. There are so many things. We could never identify just one theme. And one of the interesting things about The Walking Dead is it's been going on so long that communication critics, rhetorical critics, cultural critics have written about it, and the writers of the show have adapted the story to try and take those criticisms into account. So I want you to look at the family dynamics as we are going through for this week's discussion, because this is a story about the in-group meeting the out-group. There's tons and tons to talk about. I gave you some suggestions. I think there's plenty of material. If you've never seen it before, check out at least a couple of episodes. I also included some links to some of the graphic novel information. It's super easy to find. You can get it online. If you have a cable subscription, it's on AMC. It's also on Hulu. You can find back the old seasons on Netflix, I believe. It's all over the place. It's easy to find, and I've linked to a couple of them that we have streaming. You can get through there. Check it out. Tell me what you think. I'm excited as we head into this gigantic module about The Walking Dead and turning our attention to family dynamics. Good luck, zombie hunters. You're going to do great out there.